Hey guys, Miss Fearon here. We're going to go ahead and start off the year with Unit 1, Notes 1. We are going to look a little bit at reviewing from last year and just bringing things back to you. Basically just solving single-step and two-step equations. So this is something that you might have already done, but you're going to try to just think of these as puzzles, okay? So when you're solving these, when it's a single step or the two-step, it's really easy for you to just try to think of it as a puzzle. Okay, so in this first problem here, I'm saying 4 is equal to what number minus 9? So what number minus 9, when I take that 9 away, do I get 4? Okay, so what number minus 9 gives me 4? I'm going to go ahead and I know that that's going to give me 13. 13 minus 9 is 4. Same idea when you get to this two-step then. Okay, so 2 times what number? Minus 3 is going to give me 9. Well, you can try all the different numbers. I could say like 2 times 3 is going to give me 6, and then subtract 3, that gives me 3, not 9 like I want. So I could try 4. Well, 2 times 4 would give me 8 minus 3 is 5, still not 9. Okay, so I could keep trying. I know then that 2 times 6 is 12 minus 3 gives me 9. That's what I want. So I know that in this situation, the question mark would equal 6. I would plug 6 into there to get what I need. So you are basically doing when you are solving equations. You're just trying to solve this puzzle. What number do I plug in that makes it work? When we start to get to the harder type problems of solving equations, you're not going to be able to just look at it as a puzzle, or they're going to be really, really hard puzzles that are going to take you longer. So we give you some steps that you can follow that would be easier than trying to just sit and think about it. So the first thing you always want to ask yourself, is anything being added or subtracted? Okay, so if I'm looking at something like 2x plus 3 equals 9, okay, I have something being added here, that plus 3. So the first question is there anything being added or subtracted? Anytime you say yes to that question, then you need to do this. You need to cancel that first using the opposite operation. So when we talk about opposite operations, we know that the opposite of plus is minus. The opposite of division is multiplication. Okay. So those are the two that we're going to use today. Opposite of plus is minus, or opposite of addition is subtraction, and the opposite of division is multiplication. Once you get rid of that, then you ask yourself, is the variable alone? Okay, so when I'm looking at the variable is the letter. Okay, so it's the x. Is it alone? We always want it to be x equals or y equals. If it's not alone, then you have to get rid of the next number, usually always doing the opposite operation of either multiplication or division. Okay, so let's look at this first example. We could do this as just like our warm-up. What number minus 12 equals 8? Okay, but let's say that we didn't want to do it that way. We want to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way of like following our steps. So I'm going to ask myself, is there anything being added or subtracted? In this situation, there is. I'm subtracting 12. So to get rid of subtracting 12, we're going to do the opposite operation. We're going to add 12. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. Okay, and I won't always draw that line in there, but when I talk about sides, it's the left side of the equal sign and the right side of the equal sign. Okay, so in this situation, the negative 12 or the minus 12 and the plus 12 cancel each other out. So the only thing that's left there is x equals, if I do 8 plus 12, I'm going to go ahead and get my answer then, which is going to be 20. Then I need to ask myself, is x alone? Well, the variable is alone right now, so I am all done with that problem. Here is the next example here. So I have 7 plus x equals 4. Okay, so I'm going to look at this, and I know that 7 plus x is what's being done. I ask myself, is there anything being added or subtracted? There is. I have this 7 plus, okay? When the operation comes after the number, you have to look at the front of the number and say, well, this is a positive 7. There's nothing there, so that's a positive. So to get rid of a positive 7, we need to add to it a negative 7. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So these are going to cancel each other out, and I'm going to be left with x is going to equal, this is like saying 4 plus -7 or 4 minus 7, whichever way you want to do it. When I plug that into my calculator, I get -3. I then ask myself, is the variable alone? It is, so that's my answer, and I'm done. Let's look at the next one here. 3 times n equals 21. Okay, so when there is no operation in the middle of them, I know that I am multiplying these together. So I'm going to ask myself that question. Is there anything being added or subtracted? In this problem, there's not. So I can skip that step and I can go to the next one that says, is the variable alone? It's not. I need to get rid of that 3 there. So since it's being multiplied here, to undo multiplication, we're going to divide both things by 3. So 3 divided by 3 technically gives me 1, but we don't really write that 1 down ever. We just know that 1n and n, or 1x and x, is the same thing. 21 divided by 3 then gives me 7. So now I can go, is the variable alone? It is, and I am all done. Okay, so let's step it up a notch here now. I have 2 times a number plus 6 equals 32. So I need to go ahead and I need to get rid of whatever is being added or subtracted first. Well, I see plus 6. So to get rid of plus 6, I'm going to minus 6. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So that plus 6 and that minus 6 cancel each other out, and I'm left with 2a still on that side. 32 minus 6 is going to give me 26. Now, I'm going to ask myself, is the variable alone? It's not. I have to get rid of that timesing by 2. So to get rid of timesing by 2, we divide both sides by 2. 2 divided by 2 gives me 1, or just a. And 26 divided by 2 gives me 13. The variable is alone, so I am done. Next one here, 4x minus 13 equals 9. So I know I have to get rid of whatever's being added or subtracted first. So if I'm doing minus 13, to undo minus 13, we're going to add 13 to both sides. So minus 13 and plus 13 cancel out. I'm left with 4x. 9 plus 13 is going to give me 22. The variable is not alone yet. I need to get rid of that multiplying by 4. So to undo multiplying by 4, we're going to divide by 4. So when I divide that by 4, I actually get a decimal, which is totally fine. It's still a number. But that's why we wouldn't have been able to do that as a puzzle, right? Because if I would have plugged 4 times 5 in there, I would have got 20 minus 13 would not have given me 9. And 6 wouldn't have worked either. So I would have had to find that decimal. Working that in my mind might not have been as nice. So that's where the steps come in really handy. Here's our last one here. -7 minus y equals 10. This is a hard one, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to pretend like this has an imaginary 1 in front of it, right? Because y and 1y are the same thing, and that's just going to help us figure out what we need to do. So I see that something's being added or subtracted and something's being multiplied. So we're going to get rid of the adding or subtracting first. Now, this, remember, comes before this -7 comes before the operation. So we need to get rid of this -7 first. To get rid of a -7, we are going to add 7. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So -7 plus 7. Careful when you carry this down. I still have a -1y or a -1y, okay? When you see that minus there, it's the same thing as a negative. 10 plus 7 is 17. The variable is not alone yet because it has a -1, okay? -1 and 1 are not the same thing. So to get rid of that negative, we're going to divide. Now, negative divided by a negative gives me +1, or just the y that we were looking for. And 17 divided by -1 gives me -17. The variable is alone now, and I am done. So this is all review, but it might be frustrating. So if it's frustrating or you have questions, you're going to come and you're going to talk to me before you start the assignment, okay? Couple different ways you connect with me. Come up, if it's class time, come on up. Just talk to me right now. If it's TC time, send me a Schoology message. Come on over, talk to me. we're not going to go and text this year, okay? No text message needed. You can always send me an email if you need to, but Schoology message is going to be your best way if we are not in class. If we're in class, you guys just come talk to me. If you are ready to go, you're going to go find Unit 1, Practice 1 on Schoology, and you are going to start working through that. And then when you're done, come on, bring it up, check your answers, and then check in with me. Good luck.